Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So, like the last video, maybe 3-4 of them ago, I said it was a long time. It's been a very long time this time. So, this is middle of January 2023. I think the last video I posted might have been August, September, somewhere around there. Anyways, just kind of a little bit of an update here with what's going on. So, I'm not sure where I really left off. I didn't go back. I didn't really look on the videos with where I am or anything. But long story short, I'm just going to kind of sum up what 2022 was and where 2023 is right now and where I am moving forward. So last year was a very hectic year. Probably, first 3 months into the year basically. So what happened here was I ended up working the shop on my own. So full scale shop, we had 300 plus boats, and it was a 4 to 5 person business basically, I guess, to run the show. So anyways, that's where we were in 2019, I believe it was. And it basically, because of COVID and everything else, basically, in 2021, we ran the shop with 3.5 of us, basically. And last year, where am I here? In 2021, yeah, there was kind of a whole flip-flop of staff basically for the season. I mean, we were always running around 3-4 staff, but it was just a whole flip-flop back and forth. And then coming into, we had big plans for 2022, and at the end of March, my right-hand mechanic basically notified me that he unfortunately had to leave. So mostly for health reasons on his side, so I can't fault him for that. But kind of left me in a bind because at that point it was just me and him and my front counter person. And that got dropped on me, I think, right after I got back from North Carolina last year. And so that was kind of, sticker shock at best. So kind of had to regroup after that. Moving forward, it had looked like I was going to be in the back shop basically by myself, and I was still going to have someone though to run the front shop. However, by the time I got back from Virginia, my front counter person notified me that they were leaving, and that was kind of, it wasn't really unexpected, I guess, for the sense that usually when one leaves, another one leaves, and it's kind of a snowball effect, right? But anyways, not getting into details about anything or anything like that, but that left me kind of holding the bag. So we had worked the entire previous season in 2021, building up work in the fall like any marine shop does. So we have work to start the spring, and we have some winter work to keep people kind of busy. So anyways, I knew by the time I got back from Virginia, it was going to be an interesting time. So tried looking for some staff for about a month, and I've touched on this before, to find a boat mechanic in this area. Even, I'm in Ontario, and to find a boat mechanic in Ontario is challenging at best. Most of them are probably centered around the Great Lakes and Georgian Bay, and we have lots of water and everything up in this way, but the bulk of boating in Ontario is down on the Great Lakes and big bodies of water. So anyways, it's tough to find people up here, and shops are closing down because the owners are getting older and staff leaving, and it's a lot of attrition too, where people are retiring And then, you know, people just getting out of the trade and wanting to go find something new. So anyways, spent some time looking, didn't really get anything that I was interested in. I couldn't take apprentices or anybody like that at the time because, I mean, it was just, I knew it was going to be hell, to say the least. So that being said, I'm very thankful for my good friends that I had that came out and gave me a hand. They were here on the weekends and evenings and helped me uncover boats and put the covers on, and that was just a big help, just getting the shrink wrap off, right? And that allowed me to go through and do all the summarization and whatever else I needed to do. That being said, a lot of projects got put on the sidebar big time. So that's that. I think the last project that I filmed here for the video was the transom job on the Rinker 280. I think that was the last one I did. So this has always been in my mind. I wanted to get back to doing the videos, kind of miss doing the videos, but then, I mean, life got in the way then too. So, so we had a lot of good, a lot of bad in 2022. So again, I had mentioned I lost my staff here at the shop. So I mean, that's priority one because that's what was paying the bills. Some good news out of it all is my wife and I welcomed our second daughter into the world, and that was back in July. And so, you know, that was, we knew that was coming, obviously, and so we got to welcome her in July. The thing is that back in between March and April, obviously we knew that we were having another baby, so we needed to kind of figure out life going forward. Our oldest is, you know, she just turned 10, so, you know, life was going to get kind of moved around here a little bit, right? So that being said, my wife, who's also self-employed, she figured that maybe this is going to be better if she was able to work from home. So, you know, we looked into a whole bunch of things, and, you know, we figured out that moving was going to be the best situation for us. Unfortunately, with the way everything was going and the way real estate prices were spiraling, I mean, it meant that we were going to get, you know, decent money for our current place, but then we were going to have to fork out more money, obviously, to purchase another house that was going to be bigger and accommodate room for her business. So anyways, we were able to do that. Just by chance, we were just kind of browsing one night and we found this place. So we basically bought this place then between March and April, and then we had to sell our house, and that was while I was away again in Virginia fishing the Big Bass Tour. So I mean, talk about a whole whirlwind of events. So, you know, bought a house once I got back from North Carolina. Lost my staff between North Carolina and Virginia. Went back down to Virginia. Was there over Easter weekend, and our house got listed just after Easter weekend. And then Easter weekend, first time away from home for a holiday, and I don't know when, and maybe the first time, definitely the first time since we had children, and that was different. But then the bad news about that is my grandfather had fell while I was away, and, you know, that kind of, you know, played into how my trip went kind of in Virginia, I think. So anyways, again, with the whole up and down thing of, you know, good and bad, so he ended up being in the hospital the entire time that I was away in Virginia, so I was actually able to stop. He got released from the hospital the day that I was driving home, so I was able to stop in to see him on my way home, and you know, that kind of kicked off boating season then for me, right? And I knew I had to get on it. And so anyways, you know, in between getting boats ready, spring rush was starting to show up. Baby showed up, and then 10 days after she showed up, we were moving. So, and it wasn't just an easy, straightforward move. I mean, we allowed ourselves, we were able to give ourselves a week to get everything moved, right? And that was kind of required. And again, thanks for my friends and buddies who came out to give me a hand, because I mean, without that was a pretty tall order. And thank you very much. So anyways, we had to move the house, but then we had to move my wife's business. So she had a separate location that we were moving, packing that up and moving that at the same time. So it was moving to the new house, set up, or just throw everything into the garage basically for my wife's business, get our furniture in the house, that was crazy. And then, over that whole course of the week, then we were getting beds set up, getting rooms set up, and then, getting the old house cleaned up, getting everything out of that, saying our goodbyes, and, getting it cleaned up for the new owners. And so we moved into our new house, and that took a lot of adjustment. I mean, my wife and I lived in our other house since we've been married. Before we were married. So, I mean, we're talking close to 2 decades here. So, huge adjustment. Our oldest started a new school. So huge adjustment for her. Just, a lot of stuff going on. And so with that being said, I mean, so we went with now the baby born, moving my wife's business, moving the house, and then we had to clean up and, do any minor repairs and whatever to the walls where my wife was working, and getting that place ready for the new tenants basically, whatever the landlord wanted to do there. So anyways, then August was kind of spent getting her business set up at the house and getting her ready to go, right? And all the while, we got a new baby around the house. So I mean, everybody who has kids knows what that's all about. And so, getting that set up, getting used to the new place. And I don't know, we like the new place. It's very much what we were looking for. We had to be quick about it because, again, it was kind of peak of the market kind of deal, and I mean, there was just people lined up. And we're in a special area up where we are here, and there's a lot of good money jobs, I guess, in the area. And so that kind of drives real estate. I mean, even during recessions up here, I mean, real estate is still solid, right? So, it's always been competitive up here for the last, 20 years at least. So anyway, so getting that all set up, and then, I mean, we moved into a new house. So the house is 20 years old. Structurally sound, nothing wrong there, but I mean, then it just we started to see, I guess, the stuff that was neglected over a course of, many years, I guess. So there was, since the original people who built the house, there had been people in and out, every 3 to 4 years, mainly because they were military. And, if you get posted, you're out of here and away you go. So not really sure exactly, how it happened or the details of it. I'm not going to get into it. But anyways, just a lack of maintenance on everything in the house. So, I mean, the first night that we were there, we had to deal with improper plumbing on the hot water tank. So, you run for 10 minutes and you run out of hot water, but the hot water tank's working. So found out that it was just plumbed in wrong. So however that happens. But anyways, so had to fix that. That was something that had to get fixed right away. And it's just been an ongoing thing. So I've spent, since, I got my wife set up, I think in August. So after that, you know, it's been every couple of weeks, you know, it's just a learning curve, and it's been a constant learning curve, you know, since we moved in here. It's just, you know, we're out rural area, you know, we were in town before, now we're out in rural, so we don't have town water, we have a well. Knock on wood, I mean, everything's been great with the well. We have a water softener in there and some other equipment, and we're just trying to get a feel for all that right now. The softener is needed, obviously, because we do have a little bit of hard water, so we want to, you know, mitigate any issues with our plumbing, basically. But then just dealing with everything from the HRV system, you know, with the filters being clogged solid, to, you know, a garage roof that we knew was bad, and I was hoping to put off till the spring, but that started leaking in September during one of our big rainstorms that we had. So that was, you know, hurry up, call a buddy of mine to come over who's a roofer, and luckily he was able to fit me in between all his jobs and get that done for me. So that, I mean, that was great, but I mean, that was unexpected again. More of an unexpected cost because I was hoping to do it myself, but because I was in winterizing season, I mean, that was out the window, right? So, but anyway, so having to do that, we have an outdoor wood boiler that was, you know, unfortunately just kind of left there. It was used, but I don't know to what extent, because I mean, there was creosote built up inside the box like that thick. No word of a lie. And I mean, I was in there for a full afternoon, you know, just cleaning up the creosote basically. So, you know, getting used to all of that, you know, we had to, there was wood already there, but it was still in log form. So we had to cut, split all that, you know, have that ready for the winter. You know, so that's where I am right now, where I'm cutting more firewood now for next year already. You know, want to stay on top of this, but I mean, it's just been an ongoing thing, right? So I mean, that's why I haven't been here filming and doing much, right? It was basically come in, and winterize season to me was just a blur. I worked this entire season by myself, except for the help that I got from friends and whatever else. But I mean, that was a great help. But it was all, you know, stuff where it was a two-man lift. You know, I needed another person for something, like stuff like that. So I mean, just more or less an assistant is what they were turning out to be, which was perfectly fine. That's what I needed. But you know, when everybody works a regular job from 9 to 5 or whatever, you know, during the week, you know, you got to remember that I'm here at the shop those hours as well. And then, you know, they're willing to help evenings and weekends. Well, that just makes my days and weeks longer, right? So instead of doing typical 40, 50-hour week, now I'm doing 70-hour weeks, just to, you know, get everything done. And I mean, of course, we were racing the snow and weather and everything else. Thankfully, it held out this year till later in November, but I mean, you know, you're always racing the weather, because after Canadian Thanksgiving up here, then, you know, the gloves are off. I mean, old man winter can blow in at any time. So anyways, I finished up winterizing, I think, beginning of December. I just kind of called all stop. There were still phone calls coming in, but I mean, I did enough. I made money, so that was a good thing. But it was just time for me to take a break, so wound down for a couple weeks into Christmas, and Christmas went by with just a blur. We did, you know, family events and everything else, and I mean, it was just a blur basically. And I was hoping at that point I'd be able to get back into doing the videos, and nothing's happened. So here we are, you know, we're past the middle of January right now. I've been wanting to do this now for 2 weeks. I've been saying I've been going to do this every day, and it just hasn't happened. So here I am today, just kind of spilling my guts out to you with where I am with everything. And so everything's good. Wife's back up operating with her business. We wound down. I'm closed up here for the winter here again at the shop, but I still have some projects to do. And then, you know, here's the other swing of events now too, is that I had a couple of jobs lined up, and I didn't book that much for this winter, only for the fact that I knew I'd be by myself and what have you. But so inflation now is playing into this, right? Because at first it was materials, and I had one job that's been suspended here since, you know, the beginning of COVID, because we were shut down at that point. I mean, the world was shut down, right? So we were shut down then. We didn't do it that spring. We had to push it off and just keep people boating, basically. And then material shortages started happening, and we weren't able to do it for 2 years because of material shortages. And this year, finally, I was able to locate a supplier that had the materials that we needed. And the only problem with that is that now we're $1,500 more on the quote than we were 3 years ago. And that was with keeping my labor the same and everything else. That's just materials itself. So that was a hard sell to the customer. Customer ultimately decided that, you know what, I can forego this for 1 or 2 more years. So we're going to leave it for now. So had that boat in here taking up shop space for 3 weeks over Christmas, because I thought, you know, I'm going to come in here in January and get going on that. And then everything kind of turned 180 here again, and we're not doing it now. So shrink wrap that, kick that out the door, and bring in the next one. The next one though, which is a Sea-Doo, just a PWC GTI 130. We have hull work to do on that, so I want to do the video on doing the hull work. So you know that I have the Yamaha Wave Runner videos out there, and for the hull repair for the Nano XL, I wanted to do, you know, just a straightforward fiberglass repair on a Sea-Doo. So that we're still working on that right now, for the fact that in the fall they had other issues with the Sea-Doo. Mainly the starter, and I got some noise coming out of the pump, I think, so I gotta confirm that. But they want a quote, which I can understand, for the repair of that before we move ahead with the hull repair. So again, things are a little bit stalled out here, just working on that, and we'll see where that brings us. The good news, you know, coming out of 2023 so far, is I do have a fishing trip planned, another big bass tournament, and we're going to be back down at Lake Norman, North Carolina. And I am pumped about that. If I could leave today, I would be gone. So I will have my boat back in the shop, and I got to do a few little things to that to get that thing ready to roll. And yeah, there's not a lot of big work to do on it, but there's just some little things I want to do. But I'm going to do some more fishing videos when I'm down in Lake Norman. I got the GoPro set up now, so I'll be able to use that. I think I mentioned to you guys before, I had tons of video of Lake Norman, but I shot it in 4K, and I was unable to edit it or upload it or do anything like that. So, bonehead move. Didn't know my product before I used it, and there you go. So anyways, I plan on using that Lake Norman. Hopefully I can, you know, do some fishing stuff for you guys and give you some tips and whatnot from Lake Norman. So really excited about that. So where does that leave us right now? Kind of in a gray area. I'm in the shop, a lot of administrative stuff right now, you know, getting close to my year end and everything else, and still getting quotes together and stuff like that. So doing that, you know, taking care of some things that have been kind of left on the back burner, and there seems to be a lot of that right now, because again, 2022 was a complete mess. You know, again, a lot of good, there was bad in there as well, but just, you know, it doesn't leave me a lot of time and energy left at the end of the day to do any of this, right? And I mean, if I could walk around with a camera with me all day, strapped onto me, I mean, the stories that I could tell would be awesome. I just don't know if I could have a camera with me all day and you'd actually get an idea with what was going on. And me having to worry about a camera always seems to, you know, drag stuff out longer than it has to be, because you're worried about camera angle and showing everything and blah, blah, blah. Maybe I should get my 10-year-old to follow me around with the camera. There's an idea. Anyways, so this video is long enough. you know, and it's going to be kind of boring to anybody who's not following the channel. So I'm not going to get a lot of views or anything like that. Now I know consistency is key to building the whole YouTube thing. I do want to say thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the channel and have watched the videos. Again, there's a lot more people watching the videos than what are subscribed to the channel. So I mean, please do hit the subscribe button. Much appreciated. Trying to build the channel here like crazy. I mean, we got quite a bit of views. You know, I'm happy for all the subscribers that I have. I would just like to start building this up. I mean, eventually here down the road, I do want to monetize the channel, hopefully, and you know, and kind of incorporate that into the business here somehow. So that's the plan. I have a bunch of other things I'm trying to roll around here in my head. I mean, obviously I've had to downsize my work here at the shop, basically because it's just me now, right? And I haven't really looked for anybody yet this spring. I don't even know, I don't have a solid direction with where I'm going. I know come spring I'll be working on boats. You know, the yard's still full here with boats that have to get kicked out of the yard. But I got some other things that on the back burner that I hope to bring forward and start being able to work on if I have the time. And it might be a matter of that I have to make the time to do it, basically. And but we'll see where that goes. Anyways, that's just kind of an update here now with where we are. So again, it was, you know, one of those years where everything just kind of went crazy, but it is what it is. And you know, we're all still healthy right now and we can't complain about that. So there's worse things to complain about, I think. But anyways, if you stayed through the whole video, thanks very much. You're really committed. But anyways, just wanted to give you guys kind of an update of where things are, and we'll see you here on the next one, I think. So other than that, I don't know where we're gonna see you on the next one. Again, I got some other things, and we might just be doing some things maybe outside of boating, and I don't know how that's gonna work because the channel's named Reality Boating. But I don't want to start another channel, so we're just gonna see how we can incorporate all this into the one channel, I think. You know, might draw in some different viewers in too. So anyways, if you have anything that you want to see, any questions on anything, by all means, you know, reach out, message me, whatever. And if there's something that that you need like a repair on or something like that, or you're looking for information on how best to do it, by all means reach out. You know, I might be able to do a video on it, and I might be able to share some information with you that's going to help you out. And that might be something else too that I look at here down the road with maybe doing that on a bigger scale. But anyways, I said this already. Thanks again for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Have a good day. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you. See ya.